Hi, T.O.T. Carlson here, and once again it's movie time. One of my favorite TV shows of the 1990s, of course, was Beavis and Butt-Head, and when that was spun off into a movie, as a young boy, you better believe I was pretty excited. We now, at long last, have a Blu-ray release of Beavis and Butt-Head Do America, the only feature film starring the titular duo. Although supposedly there's going to be a new movie and series for Paramount Plus. We'll see how that comes when the time comes, and I'll probably make a video accordingly. I'll do a quick unboxing here, talk about the movie, share some memories, talk about extra features, quality of the disc, and so forth, and I'll let you know if this one is recommended. Here's our cover, our great photo of Beavis and Butt-Head with their motorcycles. I don't know if this is supposed to be like an Easy Rider homage or what, but I do like this artwork. Captures the spirit of the movie pretty well. There's the spine. Back cover's got them rocking out in front of the White House, description of the movie, special features, all your credits and so forth. Disappointingly, this package is kind of plain. You just have a digital copy in here. I've already given that away, so don't ask for that. And then here's our actual Blu-ray disc. Looks pretty much the way every other Paramount Blu-ray disc looks. In Beavis and Butt-Head Do America, the greatest tragedy of all time befalls the idiotic twosome. Their TV is stolen. Their television, their pride and joy. So they go around their town of Highland looking for another TV to watch, and eventually they find themselves in the company of smugglers who want them to do jobs for them, thinking that they'll be able to use the money they get to buy a new TV. They head out to Las Vegas, and after that, they find themselves on a bus trip towards the East Coast, culminating in a visit to Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, their neighbor, Tom Anderson, sets out on his cross-country trip, and when you're crossing paths with Beavis and Butt-Head, you kind of know what's going to happen there. Additionally, there's an overzealous ATF agent obsessed with cavity searches hot on their trail, so how's it going to end for the boys? When I was a young boy, I was fascinated by all the stuff I was not allowed to watch. Beavis and Butt-Head was certainly not a show for children, but me, being elementary school age, was certainly enthralled by this show that my parents absolutely forbid me to watch. And when I did watch, it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life, even if I didn't understand half the jokes as a young boy. I mean, the show is crude and crass, but it's also at the same time a brilliant satire of, well, then modern American life, crafted by Mike Judge, who of course would later create the sitcom King of the Hill and go on to do several other feature films, including Office Space. Mike Judge is a genius when it comes to capturing this whole sense of Americana, even if Beavis and Butt-Head and King of the Hill do it in totally different ways. Seeing them on this cross-country trip away from their usual town of Highland, it's a breath of fresh air, and it opens up a lot of comedic possibilities. The movie is very funny, and it clocks in at only about 80 minutes, so it flies right by. But seeing all the historical landmarks these guys go to visit, and the fact that they couldn't care less, but are more entertained by dirty jokes and double entendres, just makes this movie all the more hilarious. Mike Judge, of course, voices several of the characters, including Beavis and Butt-Head themselves. And then you have guest stars like Robert Stack, Cloris Leachman, Greg Kinnear, Dale Reeves, Demi Moore, and even Bruce Willis. It's amazing how many people actually wanted to get involved with this movie, even if they didn't make a lot of money doing it. It just goes to show how far the Beavis and Butt-Head fandom in the 90s really was. And the movie even made box office records during its December 1996 release. Granted, those records have since been topped many a time, but for being a crudely drawn show that kind of came out of nowhere, that's quite the accomplishment. The movie itself has an involving enough plot, but let's be honest, you don't watch Beavis and Butt-Head for the plot. You watch Beavis and Butt-Head to laugh. And this movie certainly delivers in that regard. For years and years, the Beavis and Butt-Head movie, Beavis and Butt-Head Do America, has only been available as a DVD. It was originally released as a bare bones DVD, and then it got a special edition DVD a few years later that added on some then new bonus features. I think that came out around 2006. And now we have the movie on Blu-ray. I'm happy to say that even though this is not a perfect transfer, it is a pretty nice step up from the original DVD. The colors are a lot bolder, everything looks a lot cleaner and neater. and it's a lot easier on the eyes than the earlier DVD transfer. Not that that version looked bad, but it was certainly dated by today's standards. And I was worried this would be kind of a rushed release that just looked like a standard def upscale, but it does look much better than that, and I am glad to see that even though the packaging on this release certainly feels like a rushed job, the transfer does not. Disappointingly, as far as the bonus material goes, we don't get any new features. It's just stuff ported over from the Anniversary Edition DVD. So what we get here, there's a featurette on the making of the movie, a featurette on scoring the movie, a ton of trailers and TV spots, a SmackDown montage of all the action sequences in the movie. And it's a pretty good package, but there are a few things missing here that I wish had been included. The biggest omission here is the deleted National Archives sequence from the movie that was only shown when the movie was aired on MTV. I'm not sure if that deleted scene only aired like once or if it has aired multiple times during MTV airings, but sadly it's not on the disc, and it is a pretty funny sequence. It also would have been nice to see like 1 or 2 episodes of the TV show as bonus features. In particular, the episode Stuart Moves Away would have been a good inclusion because that actually introduces the 2 white trash criminals that steal Beavis and Butt-Head's TV at the beginning of this movie. And the other thing, again, I would really like to have seen would have been CDs of the soundtrack and score of the movie. I don't even know if those are still in print, but you got a pretty good soundtrack on this movie with artists like, Rancid, White Zombie, No Doubt, Ozzy Osbourne, LL Cool J. It was a surprisingly thorough soundtrack for what it was, with a lot of artists that really came out in support of Beavis and Butt-Head. And then also there's the score by John Frizzell, and the CD of that would have been a nice inclusion as well. I mean, despite the rushed packaging and no new features, I think the new transfer and just how funny this movie is, I think it makes this worth the double dip. I mean, you can probably pick this disc up for under 20 bucks. Another thing worth watching on here is the commentary track with Mike Judge, who gets into the inside of the movie. And if you're a fan, you'll definitely find that pretty interesting. Are you a fan of Beavis and Butt-Head? And are you a fan of the movie Beavis and Butt-Head Do America? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you in my next video.